Good morning.
Good morning. Friday.
You said, are you ready? I'm like, oh, yeah, sure. Ready for what?
Well, I'll tell you, this happens every time we get talking, and next thing you know,
Yep, here we are.
Here we are. We'll get right to it. So we're talking about ads, and let me tell you, if you may have tried Google ads, you may have dabbled with Facebook ads, you may have even tried out Instagram, but there is something that you may not have. So if you want to generate leads, quality customers, get more traffic, LinkedIn advertising might need to be on your radar, especially if you're a B2B type of business. So today we are going to unravel it all in a very simple way for you, what differentiates LinkedIn ads from other platforms, the best practices, and how to set up a successful campaign. So let's get right to it.
Oh, I'm so excited about this.
Me too.
It's a game changer for business.
Mm-hmm.
It is. And when we talk about B2B, that's business to business. In other words, if you have a business and your products and services are sold to other businesses, that's what we mean when we say B2B. And LinkedIn is packed with those types of people.
It really is.
Anyway, let me welcome everybody. Welcome to Marketing Mix. Every week, Sarah and I are going to be here to talk about digital marketing topics. We try to cover some trends. We try to cover some tips, reviews, interviews, Q&As, just kind of mixing it up. And that's where the mix comes in, Marketing Mix. But today we're going to be giving you an overview of LinkedIn ads, which is really, really something to pay attention to if you're a business these days.
It sure is. So before we get started, don't forget every week we go live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. You can catch the replay on Instagram and LinkedIn. And don't forget to check out our podcast, Marketing and Mike. It is a great podcast to listen to. And as always, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Fusion One Marketing. Yes, we're always putting out new videos and new resources. Because as we say, this is what this is all about. This is the purpose of our show, is we want to give people really good information that can help them in business, in digital marketing. And it's all about just getting more calls and more business. Okay, so before we get into the nitty gritty of LinkedIn ads, the very first thing that you need to ask yourself, obviously, is a LinkedIn a good fit? LinkedIn ads a good fit for my business? So as we mentioned at the top of the show, it's a perfect option for a B2B type of business. So really that's what we want to zero in on, is this is the best platform for it.
And I'm looking at you can we flip?
Oh gosh, it's so funny that you said that. Yeah. You know what? It's so funny that you said that, because I was sitting here like, something's off and I can't put my finger on it.
StreamYard is so backwards, and I have a hard enough time doing things straight in the right way.
You're like, we can't go any further until I get on my good side.
Stop everything. All right. Anyway, good morning to Roxy Kelly, Perry Barzagari. I love saying that.
I know.
You can't just say Perry. I have to say Perry Barzagari. She's with the Shelby Chamber, and we're so glad to have her. And Steve Johnson, good morning. We're going to be giving you some info on LinkedIn ads. All right. So like Sarah said, you have to think about if LinkedIn is a good fit for your business. And you need to think about the platform itself. I think most of us have been on LinkedIn and know the basics, but think about it this way. LinkedIn versus some of the other platforms, it's mainly made up of professionals and really those decision makers, those C-level executives, which is really cool. There's companies of all sizes on there. And get this, there are more than 50 million companies on LinkedIn these days.
Yikes. Wow.
yeah, so yeah, it's definitely a place to be if you're a business selling to businesses. It's also the most used platform by Fortune 500 companies. So your next question, what should you be thinking about? If you think about your products and services, do you think that a professional who's just using LinkedIn during the week would stop and look at your product or service? Do you think it would be of interest to them? So if you sell something that benefits business owners, chances are LinkedIn just might work for you.
Mm-hmm. And that's the key, is not only you got to look at what type of business you are, but also the mindset of the people that are using this platform, because people are using this platform to better their careers, to build connections, to network, to find a new job, or, like all of us sometimes get a few minutes to just mindlessly get away from the work time, but they're in work mode, and that's the key. So your ad needs to be centered around that type of headspace. So what truly differentiates LinkedIn advertising from, and this is such a game changer, is their targeting capabilities.
Oh my God.
Their targeting capabilities are incredible. So you can target companies based on so many dynamics. Plus, there's currently no other platform that comes close to targeting ads to key decision makers. So that's phenomenal.
It really is. I know that other platforms have some targeting capabilities, but LinkedIn is crazy. I'm going to run down. I might have to read them because there's so many different things that you can target when you're thinking of your LinkedIn ads. So you can actually target company connections, so people that work in the company, company followers. So that's a huge thing. If you're like, well, those people would buy that product, it's similar to my product, so I want to target those followers. Industries, which is huge. Who's your demographic? Choose your demographic. Sky's the limit. You can also target actual names of people if you have them, a size of company, education experience. It's just crazy. It's so down to such little minute things. You also can, this is a big one, seniorities or titles. So if you're after those C-level executives, just target them. Don't throw something up against the wall targeting everybody in the world. Get specific. And you can also target by interest, which is huge.
Yeah, it's huge.
It's also worth mentioning that LinkedIn is right now, there's a lot of junk out there in the social media world. And LinkedIn is really viewed as the most trusted and safe platform right now. You're not seeing a bunch of the spam and the junk and all of the fake news out there like you are at other platforms. So it really makes it even more a credible place for you to do your ads, really.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing too, because a lot of people, they'll see something and it's like click for more, and it's like, what am I getting myself into? So this platform has really kind of kept that reputation of having some really good stuff out there. So, all right. So at this point, if we've determined, all right, LinkedIn ads is a fit for my business and it's a fit for the kind of audience that I need to target, let's just move right into how to create the ad. And this is something that's important to note, that there's 4 different types of LinkedIn ads, 4 kind of broad, and then there's some within each category. And so we want to break those down because we want to see, we want to show you not only what does it look like, but when you want to use these types of ads. So right from the top, we want to talk about sponsored ads. So here's an example of a sponsored ad. These are, I would say, almost like the least pushy, I would say. They look and feel exactly like native LinkedIn ads, and you'll see them in the news feed, but they've been boosted, or they are tagged with that promoted text next to the top of the ad. So these look and feel a lot like just a regular type of post that you would see in the news feed. It's just they're just hoping that you'll click through and get to know the company a little bit more. And yeah, I'm sure we've seen these and not even realized it, right?
Yeah, exactly. Because you're right. That's the whole thing. It looks like a regular post. And they're probably the least in your face. And this kind of ad is great at the beginning phases of trying to gain prospects and followers. It's kind of like putting more information about your company out there. And if you have a compelling ad, that doesn't look like spam or something in your face, people are going to be interested in it. It works best if you're trying to build an audience and you're just getting started. And it's really something to mention about the type of ad that you can use. And we'll get into this a little bit more, but you can choose to use a carousel. You can use a video, which is huge. I feel that videos are huge in ads, or even a single image, or you can mix it up. I mean, try different things.
Yeah, which we'll talk more about that too, about adding variety to your ads. So the next up is text ads. Now these are very straightforward. You'll most likely see these on the column on the right. And these are probably the closest to a Google or Bing search ad that you can get on the platform. You'll see these, like I said, featured on the sidebar of LinkedIn. They're simple, they're to the point, they're just a basic text block with a headline and a company logo or an image right next to it. So I think for these in particular, when you want to use these, they're really non-invasive, they're to the point. It is for a specific audience. So kind of how Google ads are, these people have intent. And so this should be an ad that's got an intent, and it's narrowed in on the people that are looking for that exact type of content. So it really is good when you know the exact traffic and audience that you're trying to contact for your business.
That's exactly right. And that's why they're so effective, because they're going to interest people who have an interest in that, because you've targeted those people, and that's what all of this is about. So that's a great way to use Facebook. We're not on Facebook. LinkedIn ads. Okay, now, but words are hard. Can I take a break? All right, back to LinkedIn.
It's fine. I'll take a water break.
Back to LinkedIn.
No, it's a real tall ask when we're working our brain this hard at 8 in the morning on a Friday.
I feel like I've already done all my brain working for the week, so I'm struggling just a little. No. All right, back to LinkedIn ads. All right, LinkedIn has something called InMail. It's basically like their email or messaging within LinkedIn. Yeah. So you can also target ads in InMail.
Yeah, I'm going to show
called sponsored InMail, and this is what it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I will say this is probably my least favorite, and Sarah's going to get into some gotchas or tips on when to use this, but you've probably seen, I know you've seen this. Have you ever logged into LinkedIn and you're like, I've got 10 new messages. This is really cool.
I'm so popular.
Yeah, I'm so popular. People love me. And then you go there only to find out that they are people that are just throwing ads at you. And it can be good and bad, I guess, if it's of interest to you. So the advertisers put a list together of contacts to send out personalized messages to. Again, it can be good and bad. The content's all up to you. I mean, it can be where I think is a great place to use it if you have great information to share, like in a webinar, or you have an event coming up, versus a sales pitch. So it's kind of like if you're giving good advice and good content, I think this would be the perfect way to use LinkedIn ads, because you have some sort of call to action.
Yes.
So that way, the people that are bothered by it, they go away. So you really have the very interested person who's going to fill out your form and stuff like that, coming to whatever it is you're offering. So you're kind of a leg up.
Yeah, that is such key what you just said, because when you have a list of key prospects, these are people that are most likely to want to engage with a one-on-one conversation, or most likely, like you said, to sign up for something. And I think this is where people miss the mark in using these types of ads, is that these should really only be targeted as a warm lead to re-engage with a prospect. The mistake that's made too often is that this should not be your first touch point of contact with a prospect, because it goes without saying. I mean, nobody enjoys getting a message or notification from somebody that they have no clue who they are. It's a complete stranger, and they're like, hey, Glenna, I just wanted to connect with you because I thought you'd really like this. And it's like, who are you? So this should not be one of your first points of contact, first types of ad, I should say, unless you really have your core contacts and it's a warm lead. So these ads do come in, I want to say 2 formats. One of them is a message ad, which we see a lot, which is just, it looks like a direct message, or it looks like it's in a kind of in an email type format, or like a letter. And then the other one is kind of cool. It's a conversion ad. And those are kind of designed to start a conversation with your target audience or your prospect through choose your own path experience. And what I mean by that is it's sort of like a Q&A of, do you need this? Yes or no? And then it'll kind of ask the next question based on the first answer. So those are real nice too, to do a little bit more fact finding, and it's not as invasive.
Yes, we can probably say that over and over and over. Between that and accepting someone's invitation to connect, and then right away they're boom, right in your face. It's like, now I have to take time to go just disconnect from you because.
And that really comes down to the success or failure of your ad, is kind of knowing where your target audience is in their customer journey, so to speak. And you just don't want to skip steps sometimes, or you're just going to lose them.
Yeah. And I think people don't have this information. They're not educated on the different types of LinkedIn ads. That's why we kind of want to do an overview of them to make people think which one fits me best. So the one that's probably the one you see the most in your news feed is what we call dynamic ads. These are the most personalized ads, and they're ads that people are used to seeing. So advertisers can choose anything they want to promote and any type of content that they wish. Again, we can still target the people that we think would be interested, but you can use anything from a job posting, give them some downloadable content, or even you can advertise your company page. These ads appear in the news feed. So again, we're used to seeing them, and the people that are interested in them will engage. The other people will just keep on scrolling. So I'd say these ads are the most versatile in terms of what your goals are.
Yeah, that's exactly.
You have to set up your ad, again, depending on what your goals are. You and I, gosh, how many hours did we spend yesterday on StreamYard? Talking about our own LinkedIn ads and different ideas. So you really need to think it out. Just don't throw something up there.
Oh, it's so true. It's so true. So here's another set of some dynamic ads. But as I bring this up, I kind of want to talk about, that's why these are the most versatile, because dependent upon your goals, there's different types or formats, I should say, within dynamic ads. So you could use spotlight ads, which is going to drive traffic to your website or a landing page featuring a product or service or event. Build brand awareness. We've seen these where you're sort of, this is kind of cool, is you could do something that's just, hey, I just want to build my follower base. I just want people to get to my page and see what I'm about. And this one over here, I'm circling with my mouse like the people can see. Hello. So the one where it's got Veronica here circled, and this is so non-invasive. She's just saying, hey, listen, I've got some stuff that you might be interested in. Why don't you just follow my page? Or you could download something and preview it first. Here's another one of like a request a demo, and this will get them straight to their URL or landing page. They can download some content. You can capture their contact information, and it's just really nice to have that kind of variety. There is also something called content ads, which they're designed to exactly that, to capture specific content information when the users download your content. But these you can actually put together through your campaign manager, which is your little business section of LinkedIn. But these are available only through a LinkedIn representative. So that's sort of the thing, is there are a little bit of requirements in order to get those features. But beyond that, there's so many different types of ads with dynamics that are great to use.
Yes, definitely. It's endless. It's really endless what you can do on LinkedIn. And if we talk about best practices, it's kind of like I mentioned before, you have to really think through the technical aspects of LinkedIn and what's going to fit your customer or your demographic. Who are you targeting the best? Just kind of think of your customer, who that is. how much would they engage, or how much do you think they would engage if you are putting that offer or that ad right in front of them? What is the best approach? And you may not know that. And we run through this all the time. We may try one type of ad and we're getting a lot of attention, but not click throughs. So we want to change it up because maybe we didn't nail it on the first go around. So you kind of really have to think through this, and you've got to think, would they react better to giving them some free content or inviting them to a webinar? It's all a thought process. And again, you really have to go through that instead of just throwing something up against the wall and seeing if it sticks. And as we always talk about, and I think we're going to talk about it in a minute. Yeah, I won't even go further, but
are you taking my lines, Glenna?
It's good to keep checking on it. It's good to keep trying different things. So.
Yeah, that's exactly it. When you do these ads, they're not one and done. And so you shouldn't have that mindset. You want to rotate your ads. New ads that kind of get a boost in terms of impressions because it's new eyes, or change up the look of it. So you might have one type of image on one and you want to switch it up to another image. So that way you can test to see how people are reacting to it. This is important too. Always include an incentive to your audience, whether it's giving something away for free or downloading some helpful content or inviting them to a free webinar. People jump at free. And not only that, is you just don't want to be pushy. I mean, we're all smart enough to know that if you're coming at me and I know nothing about your business, I don't know who you are, if you're not giving me something to help build that nurture path, like why would I want to be interested? It's like sight unseen. So really give some sort of incentive or a warmer upper to make them want to get to know you more. Another great component of LinkedIn ads is the ability to auto-populate a lead generation form, which is so cool. So with it, like a few clicks, LinkedIn users would submit a form with all their information, which means you're able to already gather that contact info, and LinkedIn will help pre-populate it because they'll pull your information already from your page. So the end user isn't sitting there trying to fill it all out. LinkedIn will populate it for you, which I think is really cool.
That is really cool because you want to have that call to action, like you said. Offer something, a free resource. Be a resource to these people, not just somebody spamming them. Mm-hmm. And then have them fill out a form. And if you don't know how to do that, you can, like you said, you can do the auto-populated lead generation form. So that's huge. All right. So we've done all of this, right? Mm-hmm. We've tried an ad. How do we know if it's working? Obviously, if the phone's ringing, we know it's working. But if, let's say, your phone's not ringing as much as you want, you need to track everything. This is going to help you determine, okay, which ad is performing better? What tweaks do I need to make? What else do I need to try? And really think about which part is catching people's attention. The other thing is, I would say reevaluate things once a week. Wouldn't you say I know we look at things at least once a week.
We do. Yeah, once a week we'll look and see kind of how it's performed through the last 7 days.
Yeah, and LinkedIn can kind of tell you what guidelines, and they give you guidelines and say, if you have this much of a click-through rate, those kind of things, you can look at that as something that's doing well. Again, if it's not converting, we can run ads all day long and say, oh, look how many clicks. And as Rob always says, you can't take clicks to the bank. We have to have conversions, people filling out that form. So I would just say track it, please, and keep reevaluating if it's not working. Now, hey, if it is working, maybe you don't worry about changing it up until it kind of starts trickling off. But you can also use Google Analytics. If you have a landing page, a specific landing page set up for your ads, put Google Analytics on it. See how many people are visiting. Another thing is, if they're coming to your page and bouncing off, why? Okay, that's another piece we'll talk about probably at another one of our segments, but so much to think about. So your landing page may not be attractive. They may be getting there and not doing anything else. So again, there's so much to think about from top to bottom on these ads. But today we really just wanted to give an overview of what is possible.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. And with LinkedIn, it's a great platform for B2B businesses. It's got amazing targeting capabilities, and it's got several types of ads to use. And the main thing is really to know what your goals and objectives are and match it with which type of LinkedIn ad will be the most successful. And as you said, know your customer, track your ads, track the performance of it, do some variety. There's a lot to it. But as always, we're always here to help. We love doing this type of stuff. It's fascinating to us, and we are, our end goal always is to get that phone ringing for all of our clients. So if you're interested in LinkedIn ads and you'd like to learn more, we would love to have a conversation with you. Be sure to reach out to us directly. And really, that's it for today.
Yeah, it sure is. And I want to say a quick hello to Kirk Edmonds, who joined us right a few minutes ago. So good morning to you.
Good morning,
and yeah, we both know Kirk. So we will be back here next Friday at 8 o'clock. And hopefully have enough coffee to get through it. No, I'm struggling a little bit today. Must not have been caffeined up enough, but we love doing these segments for you and bringing you great resources and information. So we will see you next week, Friday at 8.
See you next week. Bye.